Okay, hello and welcome to my review of WWE Smackdown vs. Raw 2011. This game was released on the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, PlayStation Portable, Xbox 360 and Nintendo Wii. Now this game was not actually released on the Nintendo DS like the past Smackdown games were. Why? Because they've always sucked in the DS, that's why. So yeah, I know I have taken my sweet ass time in getting to this review, and I do have some reasons. Mainly because I like to let games kind of sink in and settle down before I talk about them. You know, I've waited about 2.5 months for it to settle down, and that's long enough. In fact, it's a bit too long. So yeah, WWE Smackdown vs. Raw 2011. I got this game and damn, I had to delete some stuff on my PS3 to install it. And the installation took about 10 to 15 minutes, but somehow it felt longer than that, probably because of anticipation, which can be a bitch. Okay, so I got the game running finally, and I came across something that bugged me straight away. It was this logo that said WWEParents.com, and I had no idea WWEParents.com existed, which was pretty lame, but at this point in the PG era, I probably shouldn't be surprised. You know, can you just imagine if back in the Attitude Era, if, you know, I hate to go back to this all the time, but seriously, just imagine if, you know, if WWF had like, you know, WWFparents.com. I mean, it would probably be just a picture of Stone Cold Steve Austin giving the parents the middle finger. That would actually be pretty cool. WWE Smackdown vs. Raw 2011 pretty much starts up the same way 2010 does. It has John Cena and Randy Orton in a training facility. And the first thing I noticed was that the pace of this game is actually just a little bit slower than 2010, just a little bit. But other than that, it is pretty much the same. The controls are pretty much the same, although there are minor differences, such as the right analog stick picks up your opponent now when they're on the ground, rather than circle, just really minor things like that. The menu pretty much looks the same, although it does have this WWE Universe thing, which I haven't tried out. Probably because I'm not really a fan of the term WWE Universe. I don't really know who else is a fan of the WWE Universe. I mean, are you a fan of the WWE Universe? Okay, so since this game is supposed to be hardcore, first thing I did was try out the Hell in a Cell match straight away. And what I noticed is the character selection screen is different. I mean, it's actually reminiscent. It actually looks like the old character selection screens from the old fighting games, you know, such as Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter or Tekken. I thought it was pretty cool. That is absolutely fine by me. So guess who I chose, huh? Take a wild guess. That's right, I chose Triple H. I know you're probably sick of me choosing him by now, but seriously, at least you cannot fault my consistency. You know, I think it's kind of funny how you can choose Triple H to have a bandage attire. So what about the entrances? Are they any different? Not really, but I think the graphics have updated quite a bit. And I really think they look pretty good. One thing that I didn't notice was the loading times. They're actually pretty... No, you know what? They're actually really good. So anyway, the game starts off, and the controls are easy, but you know, the in-game grunting voices, they still sound pretty strange to me.
And the pain has to be...
So after getting to actually know the controls of the Hell in a Cell match, the Hell in a Cell was actually pretty fun. And it actually felt pretty refreshing, all the updates they've added to the Hell in a Cell, such as grabbing weapons from underneath the ring and throwing them into the ring, which is something you could never do in all of the other previous SmackDown games. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. Now, you can't actually just bust your way out of the cell door anymore because, well, there is no cell door anymore. The only way you can get out of the cell is to actually get up your finisher. And once you have your finisher up, you push triangle, you actually have to use a finisher to bust your opponent through the cage. That's the only way to actually get out of the cell now, which I thought was pretty cool. So the blood is still there, so thankfully they haven't actually gotten rid of it. Thank God. And when they do climb up the cell, it actually looks like the way they climb up the cell in real life. Even if it does take a little bit longer and they look a bit more kind of stupid doing it. Okay, so now I just covered some of the Hell in a Cell gameplay, but Hell in a Cell is not what THQ were hyping this game around, no. They were hyping this game around TLC matches. You know, about how much it resembles the actual TV program and whatnot. You know, how much realistic it is, and how the tables break in each corner. They break into shitloads of pieces, and the ladders break as well, and you can do all sorts of crazy stuff like they do in TLC. That's what this game was based around, so how does that actually hold up? So the first thing you'll notice when the match starts up is that you'll have a shitload of ladders and tables in the ring already when the match starts, which is convenient. You know, for some reason I tried to go up a ladder when Kane was still healthy, so yeah, he pretty much knocked me off the ladder and I fell through a table. And even though that happened to me, that was still pretty awesome to watch, because you know, you can't do that in other Smackdown versus Raw video games. I'm already liking the benefits of the game. You know, it's great they can just fall on the table, considering you don't actually have to set it up. If it's there, then they'll crash into it. Like for instance, I did a move on Kane and his head hit the ladder pretty hard. Simply because the ladder happened to be there. Not because I had to set it up, which I thought was pretty great. Okay, so THQ said they wanted to make TLC simple and fun. Simple as in the controls are really simple. And that's exactly what they've done, so thanks for THQ for doing that. I mean, it's a pretty awesome spectacle to see a chokeslam up the ladder through a table. I mean, how is that not awesome? Grabbing the case is different. I think it's the same in 2010. I don't really remember about 2010 because I haven't played it in a long time, but anyway. To grab the case, you have to go up the ladder, obviously, and you have to hold right analog stick up, and you grab the case. When you grab the case, it says hold. You gotta hold the right analog stick in place. You gotta hold it up. And when it says pull down, then you put your right analog stick down, and then you pull it down, and you have to do it right. If you don't do it right, then you have to do it all over again because you slip and you let go of the briefcase, so you gotta grab it. Sometimes if you get it wrong, you just fall off the ladder, and you gotta go back up the ladder and get the briefcase again. So yeah, it's not that easy. In reality, is it really that difficult to get the briefcase? I mean, the briefcase is on like a quick harness release thing. You just kind of flick it in and pull it out. But you know, they don't pull on it. I mean, why on earth would you pull on it? Only a freaking orangutan would pull on it. But then again, I guess that would make the game too easy. So yeah, I guess it's not a bad compromise. So I finally get the briefcase, and Kane, I guess he's in denial, so all he can do is act like a dumbass and pretend it's still there. Basically, TLC is fun and easy to play. Does it get old fast? Probably will, yeah. It is Road to WrestleMania, bitch. You got 5 people to choose from, so naturally I chose my favorite from the bunch, Chris Jericho. Seriously, this guy is awesome. So you got the intro loading screen for Road to WrestleMania, and then you literally have a road to WrestleMania for the loading screen, or at least just the loading screen to the arena to where you're supposed to go. Sometimes car rides can feel like just one big long loading screen, if that makes sense. So you got Vince McMahon who gives you a phone call, but after that you finally get to explore the backstage area. I think it's pretty cool how you can see the television screen and you can actually watch Raw going on while you're backstage. So you get another text from Vince, which is kind of annoying. But after that, you finally get to talk to other people, and who do I see? I see Shawn Michaels, so let's go up to him, let's see what you can do with him, huh? So I went up to him, and it appears I couldn't do anything with him. I tried talking to him, but nothing. He just looks at me like I'm a dumbass, and then he just gets out a magazine and starts reading, so yeah, that's my first interaction. Whoop-de-doo. You know what? The backstage roaming is kind of like a third-person game, kind of like, you know, Knights of the Old Republic, how it has a map and, you know, the third-person view, you control them. Games like God of War, Devil May Cry, it's kind of what this backstage roaming feels like. So yeah, it's pretty interesting, kind of reminiscent to Shut Your Mouth, but instead of like, you know, one big giant circle arena, you got to go around in a circle. This is actually a proper typical backstage area, which is pretty cool.